All right, everybody, welcome back. This is part 5 of our Attack of the Vine full set review. Do not click away if you have not seen the first 4 parts yet. That's okay. They will be in a playlist, and you can pick and mix and match anywhere you want. If there are ink colors that you don't care about, that's okay. You don't have to watch. And yeah, so let's jump into it. We have Sapphire today. And we're starting with Focus Search. So this is a 1-cost inkable action. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal a character card named Kevin or an item card and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So, realistically, we're usually only going to care about the items. And so this is a Besties Assemble or Be Our Guest effect for items. And it only costs 1 ink. It's inkable. I think that's pretty good. I would give this one a 3 out of 5. Next is a 1-cost inkable Startle. Chosen character gets -3 strength this turn. This is an action, and I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 5. I do not like hardly any effects like this. I think the best one is Distract, and that one sees extremely fringe play, almost none whatsoever, and it draws you a card. And anyone who has been following me knows draw more cards, win more games, right? It's rule number 1. So yeah, this one's a 1 out of 5. Piglet, 1 cost, inkable, 2/2, ally, sorcerer, honey, quest for 1. So this is just an on rate character. It does have a shift, right? It could turn into a hot cocoa maker. And it is honey, if that matters for anything. It would be more intriguing if it was not in Sapphire, so that we can add it to our deck with Christopher Robin. We can already naturally play it without the Christopher Robin, so that leaves a lot to be desired. I am going to give this a 3 out of 5 just because it's on rate and it has a shift target. I don't see it seeing any play whatsoever, though. All right, Boo, 1 cost inkable, 0/3, hero, quest for 1, or does it? While you have 5 or more cards in your inkwell, this character gets +2 lore permanently. So I love this design. I think it's really interesting that you can like play a card and it's almost on rate early, and then late game it gets significantly better. That means when you draw it late game, it's significantly better. One of the big problems, I wouldn't say it's a problem, it's just a design in trading card games, especially one that uses resources, right? Is that you need a certain number of cards in your deck that you can play early, because you can't just let your opponent freely do whatever they want and run over you. But then when you draw too many of those late game and your opponent draws more of their better cards in the late game, it can lead to you losing no matter how well you played the game. And I think it's really cool that they're finding ways to mitigate that. I will give Boo a 4 out of 5. I think it's pretty good. If it was like a 2-1, I'd give it a 5 out of 5. It would be way too good. So I understand why it's not hitting back for anything, aside from the fact that it's a small child. But as a father to 2 small daughters, they hit back. All right, they hit back. I don't care what anyone says. All right, they hit back. Um, Speaking of family, next we have my mother-in-law. So 2 cost inkable, Roz, 2/3, quest for 1. It's an ally and a monster. Perfect. Each opponent plays with the top card of their deck face up. So we've seen this effect before on something like Merlin Cottage, and finally we have one that we get to get all of the information. We always have perfect information throughout the entire game. I think Roz, even though its character is going to be treated more like an item if it does see play, because you really don't want to leave it susceptible to being challenged if you can help it. That being said, I think most of the time you would actually prefer it to be an item, so that it also can't be removed or swept away with things like Under the Sea and stuff like that. I think that it needs to be a 2/3, because if it were a 3/2, it would like actually be pretty good. As is, I'll give it a 2 out of 5, but I really like the design space on this one as well. Belle, always reading, 2 cost, inkable, 2/3, quest for 1, hero, princess. You pay 1 less to shift a character on top of this character. So the first thing that comes to mind, aside from, of course, Beast and Belle in the set, but like competitively speaking, historically, the first thing that comes to mind is the Accomplished Mystic. And that card already shifts on curve on turn 3. It's very unlikely that you're using the one ink that's left over. So I would say that this Dreaming of More ability that she has is a dream. It's not even there, whatever. We basically just have a 2-cost 2/3 Belle that quests for 1, and because that's going to be a 2 out of 5. Let's see, we have a 2-cost 3/3 at quests for 1 with no abilities. It's on rate. It doesn't have any sort of interactions, or it's just an ally. There's nothing that really goes with it, so it's just a normal on-rate card. It's nice to see it in Sapphire because Sapphire can typically struggle in the early game against aggressive decks, so having a 2-cost 3/3 is pretty good in that. So just for that reason, I'll give it a 3 out of 5. Alpha, Pack Leader. 2 costs, 3/2. When you play an item, chosen character gets +1 strength and gains resist +1 this turn. It's weird that these dogs care about like Kevin's. Like, here's Focus Search. They care about Kevin and they care about items. It's like two vastly different things. But anyway, yeah, this is almost never going to matter. Like, your heavy item decks don't have a lot of characters. Heavy character decks don't have a lot of items. So I would give this one a 2 out of 5. I kind of feel like I should have wore the Wally hat for this one, if I'm being honest. That joke aside, Sapphire's been eating good for a long time. All right, so I can really do with a little bit of a power level bump down, 2 or 3 or 4 notches, if I'm being honest. All right, Hannah's Inkcaster. I love that these Inkcasters are like actually cards in the game. 2 cost, uninkable item. Exert, remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. There's a card under that character. They gain resist +1 until the start of your turn. This is an interesting one to be in this set because most of the Floodborns are not shifted characters, and Boost was in a completely different set. I wonder if this ended up getting like not approved early on and had to be pushed back a set, or something like that. I'm sure different cards get moved back for one reason or another. This one, uninkable, removing damage almost never matters unless you're also drawing cards from it. Yeah, it's got to be a 1 out of 5. Sorry. It feels so bad because it's an Inkcaster, and I believe Inkcasters need to be uninkable because they are the source of ink. I believe that was like a little fun tip that the designers talked about before. All right, Translation Collar, 2 cost, inkable item. Exert, pay 1. Chosen character gets +1 lore and gains support this turn. Yeah, I mean, these cards are always scary. The things that can just suddenly grab an extra lore when you're not expecting it to. The support is probably not going to matter that much. If we wanted something like that, there's things like Alice Growing Girl. Yeah, I will give this a 2 out of 5. I don't think it's completely unplayable, but I don't see it making a lot of waves. Big Book of Honey. Lots of items cost 2. 2 costs, inkable, honey. It actually has the honey tagline. So it's an item honey. Exert, pay 2, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a honey card, put it in your hand. Otherwise, put it on the bottom of your deck. Obviously, this is for that fun honey deck. I don't see it seeing any competitive play whatsoever, but I would love if it did, because I think that if there is a Winnie the Pooh themed honey deck that is viable in Disney Lorcana, that's only good for the game. So, unfortunately, I'm giving it a 1 out of 5, but I am still hopeful. All right, 3 costs, inkable. We've got a lot to do. Song. Put chosen item or location into its player's inkwell face down and exerted. So we've seen this on things like Wipeout, and various other cards in the past, and they're always good as typically a one-off in decks that are really filtering heavily, right? So I think this card, it goes straight to be a one of in Infinity Sapphire decks, and because of that, I'll give it a 3 out of 5. Doug, good boy. 3 costs, inkable, 3/2, ally, quest for 1. When you play this character, if you have an item in play, draw a card. Unfortunately, we're giving up a lot of stat points, right? There are 3-cost 4/4s that we could be playing. So we're giving up 3 stat points to draw a card, and we have to have an item in play. It's kind of a big deal, right? If we play this on turn 3, we played an item win. Turn 1 or turn 2. So we also gave up 4 stat points or 6 stat points in order to play that item. And then we're giving up 3 stat points just to draw a card. I think this easily could have been like a 3/4, and it still probably wouldn't have seen any play, but would have been much more on rate. Because of that, I'm going to have to give it a 2 out of 5 just because it says draw a card. Ellie Fredrickson, 3 costs, uninkable, 3/3. When this character is banished, you may put this card into your inkwell face down and exerted, and it quests for 1. None of these cards have ever been good. Your opponent, generally speaking, gets to dictate when it's going to happen. And if they let it happen on your turn, goes in exerted, so you don't even get to use it. They can just avoid not doing it on their own turn, so you can't ready with it the following turn. It's never been good. 1 out of 5. Sully, 3 cost, 4/3, quest for 1. If you have 5 or more cards in your inkwell, this character gets +2 strength. It's a hero monster. So it's giving up 1 stat point for 1 or 2 turns. Well, 1 turn while it's drying, 1 turn while it's wet, and you could actually challenge with it, because the turn after that you should have 5 ink. So it's giving up a temporary, loss of 1 stat point to gain 2 stat points. I think this card's great. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. I, again, really like it. It's just like Boo. I wish all of the Monsters Inc. cards, at least the Sapphire ones, had this ability. Maybe they do. Eeyore, 3 cost, inkable, 2/4, ally, honey. When this character quests, chosen honey character of yours gets +1 lore and gains ward, and he has 1 lore naturally. So underpowered. These honey cards, obviously we have not gotten to play the Great Honey Rescue yet. These must do something in that, because they do nothing for constructed, and not even really for limited. I feel so bad, especially with the art of these cards looking absolutely fantastic. Like, this is a player that wants to play socially for fun. This is literally their dream deck, and I would love to see it played in core constructed, like I keep saying. Unfortunately, I don't think this is it. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5, mainly because it's inkable. Laugh Canister. 3 costs, uninkable item. Put the top card of your deck into your inkwell face down and exerted. Chosen opponent may put the top card of their deck into their inkwell face down and exerted. Yeah, so I feel like this had to have been made for multiplayer, where like you want to be like, hey, you want to help me out? I'll help you out. You want okay, we're good. Don't double cross me. Up, he double crossed me. Of course he did. This is something I would play on allies on the other side. This is not something that I'm going to play in core constructed. It's a symmetrical effect where although I get to pick when it's going to happen, and hopefully I built my deck in such a way that it helps me more. It's very unreasonable to think that my opponent's deck is not also really well tuned and is able to use a bunch of ink every single turn. I see a hidden Mickey back there. I can't make it any bigger. I don't know how. I'm sorry, everyone. All right, 100 Acre Woods, 3 costs, uninkable. Already hate it. It's a location that's uninkable, but we'll keep reading. 6 willpower, 1 lore, cost 1 to move there. Characters get +1 willpower while here. Honey characters get +1 lore while here. So we have that honey payoff for this fun honey deck, and it's uninkable. 1 out of 5. Power Surge, 4 cost, inkable, action. Each player puts the top 2 cards of their deck into their inkwell face down and exerted. Well, one thing I could say about Laugh Canister is I would rather play it in my deck than Power Surge, even at uninkability. So it's a 1 out of 5. Launchpad, 4 costs, 3/4, quest for 2, alert. So this card's on rate. Alert gives up 1 stat point. 4 cost quest for 2 should be a 4/4 or have 8 stat points. But if this was a 4/3, it would change everything. It would make everything so much better because this is, yeah, this can like keep things in check like Dumbo and stuff like that. But then will not take out anything larger on the crackback or take out things that don't have evasive, right? Because evasive gives up 2 stat points. So of course this launch pad is going to be bigger than a lot of evasive characters, but then your opponent's non-evasive characters will just freely eat this. So yeah, unfortunately it's a 2 out of 5, even though it's on rate. Merlin, envisioning the future. 4 cost, uninkable. I thought he had a wand there as part of the bind. I wonder if he'll we'll continue. This is a competitive channel, Mr. Burns. It's a 1/4, a quest for 2. It's a mentor, it's a sorcerer, and when you play this character, you may draw a card from the bottom of your deck. Very interesting. When this character is banished, put this card from your discard on the bottom of your deck. It's not even a may. You better do it. I think this card is insanely good. I think it is great. It's call it Frosted Flakes, all right? It's great. So they just keep looping each other, right? And we have so many cards that like look at the top 4 cards of our deck, take one, put the rest on the bottom, and if you have been playing correctly this entire time where you actually care about the order, you're not going to mess up with cards like this. I think that it's great now that you could like play develop your brain on 1. Obviously, you can't take that 7 cost Hades because you need to actually ink to 7 and you have to ensure you have a good curve and all that stuff. And you used to think to yourself, great, never seeing this card again. Well, now Merlin says you are. It's uninkable. A lot of these powerful cards, one I just named, are uninkable. So I'm not sure if it will see competitive play, but in a vacuum, 5 out of 5. I think this card's incredible. I'm shocked it's not legendary because it's such a unique effect to like take a card from the bottom of your deck. All right, 4 costs, inkable, Randall Boggs. 3/3, quest for 2, a villain monster. When you play this character, put chosen character of yours into your inkwell face down exerted. At the end of your turn, if all cards in your inkwell are exerted, gain 1 lore. I love this card. I like the other Randall. I like this Randall. I think they might go together. Sapphire players have proven to me they love inking their own cards. They're like, yeah, I'll play a card on 1, I'll shift on 2, I'll ink that thing. Who needs cards? Not me. I put them right in my inkwell. I don't think they realize it's not who gets more ink wins the game, it's whoever gets more lore, but that's okay. You do you. All right. They drank the Kool-Aid and they're happy with it. But in all actuality, I do think that this is a really good card. I think it's a lot easier to want to ink something on 4 than on 3 because 3 is still like the setup phase. 4 is more like we're getting into like the deeper parts of the game, and I am understanding what my opponent is doing, what I'm doing, so on and so forth. So I'm giving this a 4 out of 5. Mickey Mouse, 3/5, quest for 2. It is a 4 cost inkable. He's a hero and he's a vanilla. So he's on rate, just like I was saying earlier about Launchpad, but 3/5 is not really a desirable stat line. Like I said, a 3/4 wasn't. So I'm gonna give this a 2 out of 5. Antonio Madrigal, 4 cost, inkable, 4/3, quest for 1, ally Madrigal. When you play this character, you remove up to 3 damage from chosen character of yours. Please say draw a card. Please say draw a card. If you remove damage this way, put the top card of your deck into your inkwell face down exert. It's a 2 out of 5. Do we need more ink at this point? Like, yes, of course we do, but like we can't rely on it. So it's not like we can play this and then not put 5 drops in our deck. Like, yeah, healing, I'm sorry, healing has just not been relevant, which is very sad, I know, but yeah, 2 out of 5. All right, Maid Marian, created by the Vine, 4 costs, uninkable, 3/4, quest for 1, Princess Vineling, Floodborn. Whenever one of your Floodborn characters is banished, you may put the top card of your deck in your inkwell face down exerted. So we have an inkable version of this. That's a 2/3, that quest for 2 in Bell. And so I don't think I would ever play this. The Bell is any of your characters, not just your Floodborns. So you don't have to have all of these like underpowered Vinelings in your deck, right? Because of that, uninkability, I'll give it a 2 out of 5 because at least there's some interesting design, and there could be a point where, like, I would not add more Floodborns into my deck because I have this card. I would look at my deck and go, oh, I have a lot of Floodborns. I could play this card. I won't, but you understand what I'm saying. 2 out of 5. Charles Muntz, 4 costs, inkable, 3/4. Villain Inventor. There's a couple of cards that care about inventors. Quest for 2. When you play an item, again, the item theme, look at the top card of your deck, put it on top or bottom of your deck. Whenever this character quests, look at the top card of your deck. If it's a character named Kevin, you may reveal it and put it in your hand to gain 3 lore. Otherwise, put it either the top or bottom of your deck. It's interesting because we have Bruno Madrigal, right, which exerts, name a card, reveal top card of your deck. If it's a name card, gain 3 lore. So it doesn't have to be Kevin, which is, let's say there's still 4 in your deck and it's turn 5, is like 15% chance that you're going to hit it, something like that. I know that you can manipulate it a little bit, and I understand that Kevin puts himself on top of my deck, but I think I would rather have Bruno. We don't talk about that, but I think I'd rather have Bruno, even though this one does gain 2 lore in addition to that, of course. Whereas Bruno, if you miss, you just straight up get nothing. But Bruno is also evasive, and this character will most likely just be banished on the challenge back anyway. So, give and take, 6 and 7. And it's a 2 out of 5. Closet Door Portal. 4 cost, uninkable. This item enters play exerted. All right, this gotta be good. We're basically skipping our whole turn, and we're not even doing anything the turn it comes into play. And it has some kind of cost down here. This card's gotta be broken. Exert, pay 2. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may reveal a character, item, or location card. Cost 6 or less and play it for free. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. You thought Down in New Orleans was gonna be nuts? Remember when people were pre-selling that for $25? Wait till they read this card. Let me read it again. All right. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may reveal a character, item, or location with cost 6 or less and play it for free. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Put this card into your inkwell face down and exert it. All right. 1 out of 5. It was an interesting design there for a little bit. Quackerjack. 5 cost, uninkable. 2/4. Super.Villain Inventor. Quest for 2. When you play this character and whenever you quest, put the top 4 cards of your deck into your discard. You may deal 1 damage to chosen character for each item card put in your discard this way. I don't know why this is uninkable. There has to be something coming in the future with items. I mean, we keep seeing so many cards that care about items. I can't think of a reason that this card would be good right now in particular. Like, there are some synergies, but I wouldn't call them good. For this to be the legendary and it's uninkable and it's losing so many stat points, I genuinely don't understand. I think this is the first legendary that is getting a 1 out of 5 from the set. All right, we're on the last line here. Robin Hood, created by the Vine. Your Floodborn characters gain alert. This one I can actually get behind more than the Maid Marian. It's slightly understated. It quests for 2. It's a Vineling. It is itself a Floodborn, so of course it sees itself and gives itself alert. What's nice about this is, like, it's not like if you quest with Robin Hood, your Floodborn characters gain alert. You can just go, ha, surprise! All my characters have alert. Sorry for the jump scare. My microphone's right there. Yeah, I think it's a 3 out of 5. It's pretty interesting. If you are playing Floodborn if you're playing Floodborn characters already, then this is something that I just go, oh, I could use this. Like, this is pretty good in my deck. I would not say, oh, what can I like alert. It deals with things. Let me add some bad Floodborns in my deck. Don't do that, please. Pluto, 5 costs, 4/4 with support, and it quests for 3. It's an ally. So this is exactly on rate, but it's not a card that I would want to play. It does nothing the turn it comes into play. It does nothing if it leaves play. it's on rate, but like it's just going to be challenged and banished by anything that your opponent has. So, it has support. Your opponent can just play around it. Yeah, not good. At least it's inkable in Quest for 3, so 2 out of 5. All right, Hades. So this one is a 6 cost, inkable, 5/5, quest for 3 with ward. This card scares me. Genuinely scares me. Ward is too powerful. Ravensburg, I've got a pitch for you. So, how about instead of things having ward, it is ward from X. Okay, so like ward from songs, ward from actions, ward from characters, so on and so forth. I think that would be a way more nuanced design than like, you just cannot interact with what I have at all, but I can still interact with it. Yeah, big ward characters scare me. Scuttle has been phenomenal. If they just follow up with this, I mean, you just feel hopeless at times. You better just be way faster than your opponent. I'm giving you a 4 out of 5. All right. Henry J. Waternoose the third. I'm also the third. 6 cost, uninkable, 5/5, quest for 2. While you have more cards in your inkwell than each opposing player, this character gets +2 lore and gains ward. This card also scares me. I think Hades is better because it's inkable if you're in a pinch and it's in your opening hand. And just like having to ink more than your opponent. Of course, you're in Sapphire, so you're probably naturally inking more than your opponent. But the fact that you definitely have to, like, what if your opponent is also Sapphire and they just got out to a better start than you? You would just rather have Hades almost always. So I think they're pretty comparable. Hades is better. It still scares me, so it's a 4 out of 5. So, all right, let's see where I ranked everything a couple of days ago. And I am so sorry. It's difficult to see. I don't know how to make it better. I don't want to bother Ruben that much. Thank you, Ruben, for everything that you do. So yeah, Merlin was a 5. Boo, Randall, Hades were a 4. Okay. I think I scared myself a little bit. I had this at the top. I had Water Noose at the top of 3. Of course, that was this one right here. So I think, like I said, I still think Hades is better, even talking through it. And my snap reaction was it was also slightly better. I put Sully at 3. Yeah, I think me talking through Boo really made me like Sully even more. So, yeah, everything else looks kind of as it should be or where it was, and so on and so forth. Quackerjack's a disappointing one for sure, but that's okay. Like I said earlier, Sapphire has been eaten good for way too long, and it has been incredibly frustrating for the non-Sapphire players out there. So that's that. Thank you so much, everyone. I will be sure to get this out as soon as possible. I will be sure to start working on Steel. And then, of course, we will work on Dual Ink. I'm very excited for Dual Ink cards. I love the idea of Dual Ink cards. I love that they can crank up the power level, as we've seen with cards like Tramp and stuff like that. And they can lock them into 2 ink so that you can't just play it in every deck that you would want to play it in. You're really rewarded for building a deck in, maybe one of those colors that's not often represented. So anyway, thank you all so much, and until next time.